one day away from the grand final, so we figured we'd bring in a special guest. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, presented by Bet365. We got Rudo and Eric, and joined by the legend himself, Michel Goulet. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it so much. I'm sure we'll pick your brain about
No problem, guys. I'm happy to join you guys. It's awesome.
Unlike the Avs, you can play through the pain a little bit, as very quickly the Avs. No Val Nichushkin. Well, unclear if Val Nichushkin will be back.
Yeah.
No Josh Manson for this weekend. And then you also have Sam Girard and Logan O'Connor taking maintenance days from practice on the first day back after a 2-week break. So the Avs are a little bit beat up even with the break. At least those guys aren't playing at the Four Nations, I guess.
Exactly. Better beat up now than in a few weeks from now. So hopefully they're all back at the same time and ready for the playoff. But again, the playoff, it's going to be hard.
I hope you're right. The Avs' luck this year, they'll be beat up now and they'll be beat up later. So we'll see.
It's an interesting season. It's hard. It's hard to have the full load, the full team at the same time. There's always somebody on the shelf. There's always somebody injured. And it's been really challenging for everybody there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that was funny today. Like you said, they've been off for 10 days, and then you have two guys that have maintenance days. You know what I mean? Like O'Connor and Girard. Yeah. Like, I get it if you have 3 games in 4 nights. Yeah.
Something you can get hurt on the beach sometime. It's funny.
Yeah. Or they're sick, right? You know what I mean? Hopefully they're not there's it's going around right now. Like the flu, whatever it is, everybody's getting sick and.
Yeah, the flu season is the flu season is pretty nasty this year for some reason. So hopefully they'll all be back soon. Otherwise, they need everybody off. So
they're gonna need it for sure. But sometimes you have to find a way. These Canadian and U.S. teams aren't exactly healthy for this final either. So it's affecting the international play too.
Well, there's no question it's going to be an amazing match. When you look at the first one, everybody gets excited for the one tomorrow night, and the fact that we have players, our players involved, is making more fun. But there's no question that for me it's going to be. I just got back from the gym, and everybody's talking about the match, the game, and it's going to be exciting. That's for sure. Everybody, I think we're going to see some record attendance or watching that game for sure.
Yeah, I'm expecting really good numbers, both in arena and on television, given how well the first U.S.-Canada game did, and then this one is for the championship. I'm expecting a lot of it. We'll get into that a little bit. I do want to pick your brain a little bit first, Goo. You played in a couple of Canada Cups when you were playing. You also played in a World Championship. And I'm curious because this is similar. Most of these players, except for some of the older ones like Crosby, most of these guys, this is their first real major international competition as NHL pros. How big is the difference between something like a Canada Cup and the World Championships with the IIHF?
Well, the big difference is, it's a short, like this one, for example, it's a short tournament. You gotta win the game you play, and it's really intense, challenging, and you don't have much preparation, and so you really have to, like I say, click together right away. Otherwise, you're not close. It doesn't matter how much skills you have if you don't have any connection in between players. It's really hard. The difference in let's say 84, 87, that was before the season start. So we had like a 2-3 weeks training camp, and we have 8 games. That was 8 teams. So that was totally different, So it's a longer tournament, really hard before the season. But in this case, it's going to be fun because it makes it a little bit like football, a little bit. You got to win that game. So it's like tomorrow night, it's going to be really challenging for both teams. But, you got to pick a winner. And I know you guys, I don't know what you guys have. No, you got to you got to be serious a little bit, guys. You got to pick the right team here.
Yeah, me and Rudo have U.S. and Goose got Canada, so we got a little bit of a tip
Seriously?
going right now.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I see two good defensemen, I just go in between, and it's no problem.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah, you go in between. You use your speed a little bit, and and I know maybe your pivot is not the best, so it's I like my chances.
I love it. I love it.
If you were playing for Canada, maybe I'd pick them, but you're not out there.
Yeah. We had some good games. It's funny because I didn't quite remember in '87 the 3 games were 6-5. I couldn't remember that. I'm like, what? I remember the first one, but I didn't know the other 2. I'm like, wow. But that was an amazing series, and obviously it's a totally different atmosphere, totally different thing when you have countries involved. It's not a big difference. I think in my case, that's what I expect. It's not easy to play in Canada. It's not easy when you play the tournament in Canada and all that, and all of a sudden you're moving to Boston. I think the Canadian will relax a little bit more, and I think they're gonna play an outstanding game tomorrow night.
I like that.
I'm expecting a good game for sure.
Yeah. Well, what's your reason you picked USA today? Tell me a good reason, though.
So I gave a score too. I said I think it's going to be 1-0. So
wow.
Look, we saw the other game. USA willing to grind it out, and Hellebuck has looked good at this thing, especially compared to Binnington. Hellebuck's not at the end of the year. He's not burnt out yet because the Jets haven't played him 65 games yet. So I think he's pretty locked in here. But I will say, if there's a guy who knows how to beat him, it might be Cale Makar.
Yes. Obviously, Makar will be in better shape. He's going to be a little bit healthier. And on top of that, I expect like the McDavid and McKinnon, he is what he is. And I expect all those guys to play better. And I think McDavid could be his day. I got 2 guys on each team tomorrow night. It's going to be Matthews if he play, and McDavid. I think they are the 2 guys that could make a huge difference on the game.
I agree, and just to go back a little bit to what I was saying, we had a show last summer, Goo, and when it was announced about the 4 nations, and I was one of the guys that I was like, the format. I was like, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think guys are going to really be into it. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, that it was in August, right, Rudo? Was it August or something like that, or September?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And I was like, and I really put it aside. I really didn't care. Even this year when they were like naming the team and people were hoping on Avalanche Nation, like hopefully Devontae's goes, and I was like, no, I hope he doesn't go. You know what I mean? I want him to rest. And I didn't want, just like Washington Capitals have no guys at the tournament, right? Because there's only 4 teams and they have a lot of guys that would be in the Russian team or whatever. But, and I was like, as I got closer, I sent Rudo a text like, a few days before tournament started. And I was like, I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually excited. And it made me realize, because there was no games, no Avalanche games. And it made me realize obviously, when you were in 84 and 87 and, even 81, you didn't play 81, right?
No,
you weren't. No. So even those, I just remember, obviously, with my dad, Pierre, like, the clients, obviously you being one of Pierre's clients, but I remember you guys coming in like before training camp, in August, and having a training camp, like you said, and having a lot of players there. And I remember, and it's Canada Cup. It wasn't the World Cup. It wasn't the Olympics. So you're playing for a trophy, really. Just like this thing. It's a trophy. And that's what made me switch my thinking. And I remember, I know you'll remember, but you guys were there, and it meant a lot to be picked for that team. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I remember Savvy, Denny Savard got cut because it kept Stevie Yzerman. Remember that? And I was like, remember I was young, and I was like just watching all this, and Patty Waugh kind of made it but didn't make it. I think he was there originally, and then all of a sudden they kept Furzy and Billy and all those guys. And I remember all guys like being so mad, and I know it was very for you like a lot of pride to be part of those teams, even looking back at it today. And then that's what made me switch my mind last week. I was like, I think they're going to play for real, and that's why if you can just to touch up on a little bit on, like you said, you're playing for your country.
Yeah.
Yes, like you put all your differences aside, and there's a lot of rivalries between other guys. And back then it was like you guys in Montreal, and but then you got to rub elbows with Guy Lafleur and guys like that, and that was pretty amazing, right?
That was unbelievable. Yes, but it's just like the way you said, you're not just not sure. You have a new idea instead of an all-star game. You have a new idea. You bring four teams, and to me, there's no question. Like I say again, not because they're playing, and you always when you play for your country, it's totally different feel, and everybody's going to try to win, and it's a one game thing. Like it's you have to win those. You got 3 games to make to the final, so it's really really intense, really hard. And it's no question. I really like the idea they brought. I hope they bring it again. Hopefully, the Russian and the Czech could be in. But at one point, you're gonna have to squeeze all that.
Yep.
Maybe you do again like before the season. But again, I don't know. And forget about the All-Star game. Maybe.
I'm all for that. Yeah, I don't need another All-Star game if this is an option for sure.
All-Star is fun, but it's really hard. When you have to go there, it's not very, your motivation is not all there always,
Yeah, for sure.
Only
How many
Kucherov
All-Star games? How many
only
All-Star games?
only Kucherov put everything in, when you go.
Yeah, sure. He's the guy.
How many
He was
All-Star
really-
games did you go to, Goo?
It's 5 or you know what? I'm not 100%. I think it's 6. But
Oh,
it's
nice.
you know what? That was pretty intense. That was really back then it was like a 3-1 or 3-2, and there was not a whole lot of goals. So I don't know. Pretty scary. It's pretty sad when you play the trap in a friggin' All-Star game. Oh my Lord!
Hockey was different back then.
That was fun. But there's no question though. All those players are gonna have a little let down after that because you go back to your regular game and you got 35 more games, is it left?
Yeah.
25, yeah.
25. Oh, sorry, I should look at the schedule. God damn it. Hey, I was on vacation. Sorry.
Yeah.
In season, I don't even know what day it is most of the time, so
Yeah,
I think you're good there. I did want to jump off Eric's question a little bit and ask, like, what's the mindset like of, obviously on those Canada Cups, you were one of the top players on those teams. Is it a little bit different coming in, and when you went, you got to play with defensemen like Paul Coffey and Ray Bourque.
Yeah.
As a forward, does that change your mindset at all with it? Like now McDavid is playing with Makar and Taves. Does anything change?
Sometimes pretty impressive. You go like on flying on the left side, and all of a sudden the puck is right on your tape, not on your leg or ass. It's totally different. So it's kind of amazing. You see that right away, right at the first practicing, like how sharp the guys are, and how good they are. You know what? Ray Bourque or Paul Coffey or all those guys. Even that year, Norm Rochford was unbelievable. Our Canada Cup '87, he was like never been the same after that. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know.
He was just spectacular. He was really solid. But the thing is, like tomorrow night could be somebody out of nowhere being the star.
Yep.
But me, I picked two guys on both sides that can really make the difference. So it's just a game where everybody expect a lot from themselves, and it's going to be an amazing game to see and watch.
It's definitely a place where legends are made. I do want to continue the conversation, but we do got to take a quick break to pay some bills here, as this show is brought to you. Make sure you're choosing chill. Make sure you're getting in with the action on Coors Light. Of course, fantastic beer. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold and ready to drink, whether you got it sitting in your fridge or you stick it out in the snow out back. Either way, that works for Coors Light. And, of course, Coors Light can get delivered right to your front door. No matter where you live, check out CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Thanks to Instacart, you can get it put right on your doorstep. So you don't even have to go out and get your Coors Light if that's not your thing. Of course, if you are out, they're available everywhere, whether you're going to Ball Arena or maybe you're checking out the final game of the Four Nations. Either way, you can get yourself a nice cold Coors Light and choose chill. Or maybe you want to get amped up. It works for that too. Whatever you do, and make sure you got a Coors Light in your hand while you're doing it. Of course, available everywhere. Again, use CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Let them know we sent you over there and get it delivered to you. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please drink responsibly. Once you've got your Coors Light, make sure you're also taking care of yourself. Beer is good, but sometimes you got to be healthy too. So get with UC Health today. Of course, UC Health is all about taking care of your health, whatever that might be. There's a bunch of varying ways you can take care of yourself. Of course, last year I lost a ton of weight, so that's always an option you can go for. You will feel better when you're making sure to take care of yourself. They are also the official health partner of the Colorado Avalanche. So make sure you get with UC Health today, as this is the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, and it's brought to you by UC Health. So make sure you get in with them. Learn more about living like there is a tomorrow. Go to uchealth.org for more info. And, of course, live extraordinary with UC Health. You can also check out our takeover. Make sure you get in with us. February 28th, we're taking over Ball Arena. We're watching the Minnesota Wild. And this guy right next to me here will be joining us in the suite. So if you want to watch an Avs game with you, it's going to be a fun time.
Yay! It's gonna be a trap game somewhere.
Wow. It might be. You can get in with us. Only a handful of tickets left for the suite. If you already have your tickets to the game, you can get some tickets to join us on the bus to and from the bar. You come with free beer. It's always a good time. So make sure you're checking all of that out. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. Look, this is not an Olympics. This is not a recurring tournament. It's something new. And obviously, Eric talked about it. It's the players have bought in a lot more than I was certainly expecting. But where does this rank? When we get to the end of these players' careers, is a gold medal in this Four Nations going to be the difference between guys getting in the Hall of Fame or not? Or is this just kind of another international tournament?
Well, it's for some of the players, that's the only thing they're going to win. It's so hard to win in this league. So, like in my case, I had the chance to win 2 championships, 2 Canada Cups, and I had the chance to go in the Stanley Cup final. And it took me, I had to wait 12 years, So it's for a lot of reasons, it means a lot to a lot of players. As good as you could be or you are, might be the only thing you can show at the end of your career. You win that tournament, and it's it's not the Olympics, but it's pretty close. For sure, the Russian and Czechs not there, it makes a difference. That's why for me, Canada Cup 84, 87, that was my Olympics. Because we couldn't play back then, and that was a way to show I was part of it. And right now, when you look at those 2 tournaments, for me, it's the highlights of my career. It's just like the same for those guys. A lot of those guys, that's the only thing they're going to, see at the end of their career. Oh, I didn't win anything, but I won that big tournament. And it's kind of nice. It's just no question that they're going to be ready on both sides, and it's going to be good hockey, and it's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's why I changed my mind last week. You know what I mean? And because I remember, obviously, well, first of all, I would have never been part of the Canada Cups. Let's not kid ourselves. Maybe if there was like,
you might be the last cut. You're the last cut.
Yeah. I was the last cut.
I was the last cut in '91. Last guy cut. I'm like, seriously, guys?
See, that's what. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, because I remember now. That's right. So I remember all the guys that that were cut or whatever all those years, and they were always mad. And then I was like, that's what made me last week think about, okay, they do care. And I think McDavid called, like, after the first game, he was like, somebody asked him, is this a glorified all-star game? And he was like, what, does it look like a glorified all-star game? No, this is we're playing for real. And go, I forgot you were at 91. That's right. I forgot about that, and it's hurtful, right?
Oh my God. I'm like, after, especially when you are the first 2 and they know me, and that was Keenan again. And, Tom Webster and whatever, it was like, and I'm like, the last guy, me, and it was Claude Lemieux and me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going home. But after 3 weeks of training camp, that's not good. Don't feel good at all. You're ready for the season, but no, I was ready for that tournament. And, at the end, it's kind of hard to make the team. And it's an honor to make the team. So it's all that, it's really ups and downs. But at the end, you pick the team that you think makes you feel you're going to win. And they did win. So they picked the right guy, I guess.
That's right.
So
but it means a lot for those guys, or you guys.
Oh, no question. No question. It's an awesome idea, whatever who brought that idea. And obviously it's the hard part is like some of them might get hurt for a little bit, and all of a sudden because of that tournament, you don't have a guy for a month or two. It's really hurtful, and they all key players on your own teams. So it's not I'm sure some of those GMs are nervous,
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen McAvoy out with infection now, and Shea Theodore went out at the start of the tournament. Both of you have worked in front offices, so I'm sure you guys have experienced these types of things firsthand. Look, do I believe that tournaments like this are good for hockey? Absolutely. They absolutely have to do them. But I can understand how NHL GMs are not a fan of things like that.
But even Joe, right? Remember Goo? Like Joe came. Was it Olympics? Remember he came back and he was a little bit, hurt and slowed down a little bit. He was banged up. You know what I mean?
Like I say, the thing is, all those guys a little bit, they're gonna have a let down because the intensity of those little short tournament, it's a different feel from a 82 game season. So when you play 82 games, some of those games you're not gonna win and you don't feel good, and but obviously expectations are high. But one of those guys, they're gonna win the cup here, the Stanley Cup, and they're gonna win the tournament. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
The double would be fun. That's for sure.
Yeah. No question. Imagine when you do that.
Can't. I wouldn't know. I was gonna say though, if you were Finnish, you might have been able to make the team. They were lacking some.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey guys, I'm Finnish. All right. So no way.
Here's my passport. Here it is.
It's funny, but there's no question. It's like I say again, it's a short tournament, and it's a football game every game. So you got to win that game, otherwise you're not part of it. So it makes really, really the tournament something to watch. So, and it's going to be really a lot of fun.
You spoke to how little time you had at a tournament like this. With players as good as you were, with players as good as they have, like McKinnon's and Crosby's of the world, how easy is it to just jump in and play together in an event like this? Or how much of this is you guys feeling it out as you go?
Well, again, in my case, in 84, right away, he put me with Gretzky and Rick Middleton. It was like, whoa, okay. And you know what? I can feel that was such an amazing tournament we had, and they kept us together all the whole tournament. And I knew obviously how Wayne Gretzky played, and I knew because Middleton was in Boston back then. We played 8 games a season against the same team, and how good they are. And when they put you together, like you can see, that's where the management is important and the coaching. To have a feel of what style of play can play with the other guy, And he said, how was it to play? Everybody's asking me back home, he said, how was it to play with Gretzky? I said, it was really easy. I gave him the puck. I gave him the puck, and I go to the net with my stick on the ice, and my God, that was amazing. And, it was an amazing tournament for me by far. Out of the two, my best. But, in 87, it was totally different. Mike Keenan had a different style. He was going two guys, each line, and he was swing around the winger. It was unbelievable. And all of a sudden, they end up Gretzky and Lemieux, and you play with him a little bit, and all of a sudden, it's somebody else, and some of us, it was just an amazing time, and we end up winning because of those two guys. They were so good. But there's no question you need a style of play, or you can see a good fit. When you put a line together, you see a good fit, a good style. Like it will help each other, and you will produce, and it's going to be a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot like Team USA, Rudolph, like what they did last game against, was it against Canada? That, they made the switch, right? From whoever switched from, and then Brady Tkachuk went on the top line and put his brother and Matthews. And again, it's a question of feel. You don't have time to wait. You don't have time to see what's going on. You just kind of have good instincts, and that's why you said coaching and management is very important, and that's why they've been, scoping the globe out, obviously, the NHL games the last, whatever it is, 6 months to 5 months to see what the fits were, right?
No question. And that's where the coaching need to be really sharp and know their players and know their style of play. And it doesn't matter. You can be two superstar and it's no connection. They maybe too much the same, and it doesn't work. At one point, you have to shoot the puck somewhere. It doesn't matter how many people you deke and you go around. If you don't shoot the puck, okay, it doesn't work. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be intense. It's going to be really something. For some reason, I don't know. I think it's going to go one way, but maybe I'm totally wrong.
What was your score prediction? Because I know you have Canada. Well, E and I have US.
I think I'm going to go 5-2.
5-2. All right.
Yeah. All right. For some 5-2. So I'm waiting for your call. After the first or second.
Spoken like a guy with a career 18% shooting percentage. All right. You know how to score a goal or two. So.
Hey, the goalie were not as good. Maybe I don't know.
Hey,
still,
maybe they need you need to call up Team Canada, tell them how to beat Hellebuck a little bit, since you got that shooting percentage.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on both goaltending. That's for sure.
For sure.
It's everybody. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, when I hope you don't have those let down, like you give 2 bad goals, and if you do that, it's really hard to win. But again, in 87, end up 6-5. We were losing by 3, and I'm like, all of a sudden you end up winning. But it's just an amazing feel. But I really believe the fact that they play in Boston, it's going to help the Canadian team a little bit.
See, that's interesting because he was talking about, or rather, I guess really it was Dylan Larkin that said this in an interview, that the first games were essentially home games for Canada. So in some ways, USA felt like the earlier games were easier. But I don't know. How much does that crowd actually help US necessarily?
Yeah, it helps you if you score first, second, and third.
That's true. That's true.
If the other team score first, second, and third, I don't know how much they're going to help.
You might get booed off the ice at that point. So.
The game goes. Huh? The game goes, guys. It's amazing. It could be really easy, and it could be really, really nasty and hard. So it's
and it's playoff format though, right? Tomorrow, so it's like it goes all the way, right? There's like it takes 3 periods in overtime. It's 3 periods in overtime. There's no limit.
Yeah,
it's 5 on 5, and it's. Yeah.
At the end, you're going to see a lot of block shots by the defensemen or forwards.
Let's not do that. Canada has scored enough golden goals against the U.S. in my lifetime. All right, let's end this in regulation.
Golden goals. That's right, Crosby.
It's just a funny feeling because sometime I was just thinking it'd be fun. We're never going to find out to have let's say the 87 or 84 team against today's team. How that would work, the difference.
That would...
we'll never find out, but it's amazing. You all think back then, like let's say in '84, you have Bossy and Gretzky, and I was like, oh my Lord, those guys were Ray Bourque and Coffee, and I'm like, hey, when you look at those
guys, pretty good.
We have 12 Hall of Famers, and
not bad.
those guys in Team Canada, Team USA, they got to end up all of fame, maybe half of the team.
Yeah.
Certainly the top of Team Canada. They're all going to be there. But I do want to talk a little bit more about this, but we do have to pay some more bills. So let's do that very quickly here, as we are brought to you by LiveWell. LiveWell is just your local cannabis location in Colorado with 25 different locations, and they strive to make cannabis accessible to all because they believe everyone deserves to live well. Their staff is super knowledgeable and here to help you on whatever you need, whether it be topicals, flower, just straight up joints, or any other products. They've got you fully covered at LiveWell. They also have a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value. And when you go in store and mention code DNVR25, you can get 25% off any one regular price item with a few restrictions. Of course, tons of different options to choose from. You can even order online for pickup if you want to get in and out quickly. So they've got tons of stuff at LiveWell, whatever it might be that you're looking for. Make sure you get with them. Again, make sure you use that DNVR25 code in store to get 25% off one of their amazing products today and get living well. Once you've been to LiveWell and you've got all your products, well, you probably need a way to get there. So that's where Toyota comes into play. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR, and you can get one at your local Front Range Toyota dealerships. All sorts of vehicles, something for everyone. Toyota has trucks, SUVs, sedans, crossovers, hatchbacks, you name it. They got it all, including 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles and 16 different hybrid vehicles. So wherever you're going, you can get there and you can save money doing it, all with Toyota. Jump on with them. They're not just the official vehicle of us here at DNVR. They're the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche too. So go to your local Front Range Toyota dealerships, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Still here with Michel Goulet. Look, I think you made a good point of, just rattling off a few names. Crosby, shoe-in Hall of Famer. McKinnon will make the Hall of Fame. Makar will make the Hall of Fame. You even look further down this Canadian lineup, and you're talking about a good number of Hall of Famers when it's all said and done. But U.S. has it too, right? Certainly Matthew Tkachuk is on his way to a Hall of Fame career. You look at someone like Matthews, very likely on his way to the Hall as well. How much does experience play a factor in tournaments like this? Because it feels like the U.S. has plenty of experience, but they don't really have someone like a Sidney Crosby who's been there and really done it all. Yeah.
No question that Sidney is the key guy on that team. Just the way he plays. He leads the league in the tournament, in points. Yep. So it's pretty impressive. Obviously he's an impressive player. I always say you have Hall of Famer and you have the other level of players.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just an amazing group of guys. When you start looking, I'm like, am I with the same group of guys? Are we in the same league here? But those guys are totally, it's an amazing feeling, just to be part of that. When you go there, it's just amazing. But Sidney Crosby is just the leaderships he showed and his work ethics and the preparation and all that. He's just an amazing player that, he's a player that, he's going to be good until he retired. So whatever he decides, he might decide in 3 years from now, whatever it is. So, but it'd be kind of nice if he end up out west, for the rest of the year.
I mean, would it be nice? Yes. Is it going to happen? No.
That's funny, but
awesome.
He's just an amazing. Whatever he happened, he will decide, what he wants to do. So, but again, at the end of the day, he's a guy that is the leaderships, and when it is the room, it make you give a little bit more. Just the fact that he's on your team. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. That's why maybe my reason that I like maybe the Canadian just a touch, So
I got a question. You talked about Crosby there, and I think teeing off a little bit of Rudos there. And it's a group of guys. You all come in, and then all of a sudden, it sounds like Crosby's the godfather this trip. I'm using Team Canada, for example.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
seems like he's the guy that, McKinnon is gaga over him, and McDavid's gaga over him, and everyone's like so pumped to be around him. And back then, give us a name, maybe those 84, 87. Who was it for you guys, for Team Canada? Because you guys were all, like you said, Hall of Famers,
Well,
All-Stars. But
the
who was
84,
who
we had,
was the godfather?
that was a different feel a little bit because you have Dennis Potvin, Larry Robinson. You know what I mean? You have those guys
That's
that
right.
won cups, and I mean, our defenseman in '84 was like, hey, yeah, yeah, okay, this is a group of players that pretty hard to play against, and it was like those kind of guys that they win cups and all that. So it's a little bit the same feeling that Crosby brings, but even 87, the Gretzky already like 3 cups, and I mean, it's just an amazing. I always look at those guys that they they have the experience, they know how to win, they know what to do, and it's just an amazing feel and makes you feel better and make you want to give a little bit more just to for that game to win that one game. Like tomorrow night is going to be that feeling a little bit for a lot of those young guys. To have the chance to play on the same line or play with Crosby in the same room and maybe win a championship or a tournament. It's gonna be fun, and those guys are so important. It's so big in a hockey game. So it's gonna be fun and interesting and challenging at the same time. But like my score is not really the one I expect, like everybody's thinking. But it's like the Super Bowl a little bit this year. Everybody thought it was going to be a 1 point game, and there was no game.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I never seen a quarterback Mahomes struggling like that. I mean, whoa, okay, it's totally different here, but it's the same feeling. It's that one game, and I could be totally wrong. I could be like a 3-0 on the other side. If Alabok play a game, and and the Canadian are not as good as they should be, but when you think about that kind of game, you think about a goal game, overtime, or hopefully, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be so.
I was thinking even like on a different topic, but it's the same, obviously international hockey, and we're
Yeah.
talking 84, 87, whatever, those Canada Cups. And I was telling Rudo the other day, like, obviously I was a young boy going to those games, and I don't want to use the word laughing stock, but Team USA was always like, I don't want to use the word awful, but they were not good. And now if you look at it like whatever it is, 30 years later, it's
No,
amazing what USA Hockey has done, correct? Like, I mean,
no,
obviously, like, it's
you're,
crazy
you
when you think about it.
it's unbelievable the progression and how better players are. But to me, it started in 1980 when they won you know, the the miracle on ice. That's where it started a little bit. That's where you believe in miracle, and that was amazing. That team wouldn't beat the Russian out of 100 games. They would win one game maybe. You know, but on
Oh
that
yeah.
day, they beat them, and it was like every after that, like hockey got a little bit more popular. But the big
Mhm.
the big thing happened in the NHL is Gretzky moving to California.
Yeah, for
Wayne
sure.
Gretzky,
That's right.
all of a sudden, you have players from Phoenix, California, and Florida, Texas, and that's why USA, is better and better in hockey. And when you compare like 400 millions against 35, at one point you might lose a few players, and they might be better a little bit. And it's the way it is. But at the end, it's just USA hockey. They have to be proud of what's going on and what happened, and the whole things. It's just amazing players. It's fun to watch.
If you guys want to run that back and move McDavid to a state that starts with C, I'm okay with that too.
Ooh.
Uh,
We
I
don't have any cap room, guys.
and unfortunately not that type of space. Definitely that would be
That's
tough.
that's the fun part. That's the fun excuse. We don't have any cap room. Yeah, sorry. We're gonna make a deal here.
I, I did want to ask because you mentioned 12 Hall of Famers on that Canada Cup team that you played with. Be honest. Does the coach at a tournament like that have any say at all, or is that just a bunch of players going out there and doing what they do?
It's huge, huge.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
Okay.
oh yeah, it's huge because obviously, if you don't have a, like I say again, if you don't have a good feel of your players and you don't know where to change players, and but back then Canada Cup was different because of the time we had in training camps and all that. But today it's just like you said, all of a sudden the USA tried to change a little bit and Canada changed a little bit. So that's where the good coaching is. So it's
Right.
it doesn't matter how good team you are and you have a good feel, a good player, but if you don't have any chemistry between players, you don't produce.
Fair enough.
Maybe that's where your buddy Talk. That's where your buddy Talk's gonna be good for
He
Team
was
Canada.
was awesome. He was so good. What a player.
87, right? 87, right? Talk 87.
87. He was huge. I mean, he was like Keenan had him too. That was his boy. That was fun.
That was
They were,
that was his come out party, yeah, for sure.
oh my
was
lord, that was a good. That was a good. You had a good tournament. It was. I mean, you need a. The thing is, when you look at the tournament, let's say like in '84, Gretzky, what he had like a 4 or 5 goals. I had 5 goals. Bossy had 5 goals. That was so good everywhere. All of a sudden now you look at this short tournament, you don't have a whole lot of time to so you need to produce in that little game you have. So it's a different feel, different feeling, different tournament. But to me, I like it very much.
And I asked Guy about this too. You're both from Quebec. Montembeault, technically the only Quebecer on the Canadian roster. Is there a little bit of a rivalry inside of Canada there, or when it comes to these tournaments, is it all just under one Canadian team?
Oh, I didn't feel any rivalry at all. Between not at all. I think you have to feel like the guys, the coaching, the GM, whatever, have a good sense of a good team he wants to build, and I don't think they look at how you speak, and I don't feel anything like that. The fans might think differently, but not the players.
But
Sure.
it's kind of, like it was crazy back then with Mario, Goo, Mike Boss, all the Quebecers. I mean, it's now
Yeah.
it's only one of the backup goalies. It's crazy right now. I don't know why. I mean, somehow, maybe there's something to look deeper into. Or it's just bad luck. I don't know. Who knows?
I think it's timing. Sometimes it's just timing. I think good players come by waves. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Quebec has, but Quebec is different style of play a little bit, the league, than the Ontario of the, I'm talking about junior hockey. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's, I think at one point you're going to see more and more players, good players, it's just, but in the Quebec league or in the province of Quebec hockey, the popularity of hockey is not the best right now. A lot of kids choose other sports, and in our days, that was only hockey. So it's totally different. So I wish I'd be a radio guy or a TV guy. It'd be a lot easier. Maybe I don't know.
I feel like Lafreniere had a breakout a little bit last year, maybe in a couple of years, maybe.
I like Lafreniere. I think he's a good player. It's just I think he's going to be a very good player. But sometimes you just need 3, 4 years or 5 years to figure out. It's the thing is, sometimes when you have how many times you see a kid who have a good first year, even better second year, and all of a sudden goes downhill from there. You see, we saw all the pictures, good, bad, and ugly, and it's just an amazing, not easy to do. That's for sure. To be consistent year after year and be one of the best you can be, and it's not easy. A lot of times because you have a first or good first year, you think it's going to be easy, and some of those players don't come close to the first year they had.
Maybe Quebecers just need to stay away from New York between Laugh and Big E. Some of the tougher years of their career happened in New York. So.
Oh my Lord! Yes, it's
No production there.
no. I don't go there. So who's your pick this year for the cup? You guys know a lot about hockey.
Man, it's tough now.
See, that's a good question, huh?
Well, because at the start of the year, everyone was picking New York, right? And now, I don't know that I really believe in New York, but I can't pick Edmonton either. I'm not a believer in Edmonton. So,
Okay.
if I had to pick today, boy, it's tough right now.
We have a game tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Pick somebody.
After
Who
the
you got,
deadline, I'll
Rudolph?
say the Avs, but for
The
right
Avs,
now,
damn it.
Yeah, there we go.
nah, I can't pick them right now. Right now, I'm going to say, just because I think it's funny, I'll say Carolina.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
I'm not going to say a winner. I'm going to say Avs in the West because I'm sticking to it. I believe it. I do believe it. I do. They're going to find something. And then I think, don't ask me why. That's the last thought on my mind back then, but I can't see them. I watched them so much the last few weeks. Washington. I do believe they come out of the East, and I don't know why. And those guys are on fire right now, like Thompson and Ovi's on fire. Like, it's crazy. I would have never thought that. I probably didn't even pick them to pick the playoffs. But right now I'm thinking, I think you're seeing Wash against the Avs, and not being biased. I truly believe the Avs will, something's going to happen. They'll come out of it,
Yeah, it's a good pick.
How about you?
Good pick. I don't have anything, guys. Sorry.
Oh, you're speeding us up and you have no answer. Come on.
Hey, I'm the guy asking question now, okay?
Oh, you're hosting the show. All right.
Yeah. What's your prediction tomorrow? What's your prediction, you guys, tomorrow? The score.
I had 1-0, and
did we talk about that? 1-0. Eric?
Eric didn't give his, so.
No, I'm gonna go 3-2 US.
3-2.
Golden goal. It's going to overtime.
Who gets it then?
Who gets it? I'm gonna go. Man, oh man! Don't ask me why. Dylan Larkin. Sticking to Dylan Larkin.
He's good. Huh? He's having a good tournament.
He is having a good tournament.
I don't know.
Did he finish the last game? Did he got hurt? No.
No, he's fine.
I think so. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good pick. You guys know hockey. I like it. It's fun to play. Fun to talk to two experts. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's always fun to talk to E, but he's no Hall of Famer. I'll put it to you that way.
No. I'm a Hall of Famer eater. Yes.
Maybe better than a Hall of Famer. Who knows?
Hall of Famer eater.
Hall of Famer on the couch for sure.
A restaurant. No, I'll find you a restaurant. I can do it.
There we go. He's got all the best restaurants.
Actually, that's probably true. He's probably a Hall of Fame restaurant finder.
Yeah.
Given some great recommendations.
I know where you learned that from. That's for sure.
That's right.
Oh, baby. Lucky Pierre was freaking the master.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So it's
nice.
fun.
It's nice to have two greats on the show next to me being a bum. So
there you go.
You're a good one,
Rudolph. You're a good one.
You inside. You inside. It's good.
Everybody needs a McSorley or something. So
there we go, Marty. Man. Eric played with Marty. Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Marty. Good man.
He's got at least one great story about him. So.
Oh, it's the best. I love him.
Eric's got stories for a lot of guys.
He sure does.
Oh,
good
man.
Storyteller. Maybe he's the next Bobby Hall.
Good all right.
Bobby Hall, one of the all-time best stories. Oh my God, was he good?
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
He was great.
A lot of hockey players got good stories. It's interesting compared to some other sports where I don't know. Some of the stories aren't as good coming out of football or things like that.
I don't know. I mean, I think each sport's got their own stories.
That's true.
They are
That's true.
different, that's for sure. So, but it's good.
It,
Well, it's fun.
yeah, it's. I do want to. We have like about 10 minutes left here. They have said over the next couple of years they're going back to the Olympics, but then every second year they're going to try and run not necessarily Four Nations, but a World Cup. You'll have to remind me because I wasn't alive back then. Sorry. Did how much international play, as in like playing in Europe, was things like Team Canada doing back in the 80s?
Well, there was always a world championship, but there was no tournament beside the world championship at the end of the year. I did it once, in Germany. In '83, we lost in the first round of the playoff, and we got beat by Hartford. God damn it! Sorry. But again, it's totally different. The field, first time you play on that big ice sheet, it's totally different style, different. But I had a pretty good tournament. We finished third that year, but that was fun. There was Marcel Dion and Daryl Sittler and
Yeah.
Bob Gainey, and it was like
Yeah.
it was like a different feel, and obviously it's always fun to meet those guys and how good they are, and how much older. And I was one of the youngest. I was 23 at the time, so everybody else was, it was a little bit more experience, but it was an amazing tournament, and it was like, again, like I say, it's totally different. And when you come back here in '84, it was like totally different feel. The year after, and different style, and in our own rink, and in Canada, all the games in Canada. So, but when you play against the Russian back then, there were, you had the famous five players, Kazetonov, and those guys, man, they were good. But in '87, they were even almost better. But I think their goaltending was not as good. But Kaminsky was there, and they were so good. Different style of play. So, but '84, we end up in a final against Sweden, and it was absolutely no chance Sweden would beat us. It was, we knew we were going to win after we beat the Russian in the
Yeah.
semis. After that, we knew Sweden is not going to beat us. So, but when '87, again, totally different feel. We go in the final against those big guys, and turn out an amazing 3-game series. And that's where I really believe that's where Mario went from a good player to a superstar. He was
Sure.
he was unbelievable. So, not because he was my roommate, but he was really.
There it is. There it is.
I showed him a little bit what to do, but he he was amazing. It was fun to see just this young guy just take the game by himself.
Yeah.
Obviously Gretzky was there too, but it was an amazing duo that you couldn't stop.
Gretzky didn't need your advice, though. It's
No, I didn't talk a whole lot back then. I just knew how to play. I didn't have to talk. I was just but it was just an amazing different feel, with those
Yeah.
guys. It's a different level of plays, and it's like all those years in Chicago, and you have a chance to go see Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
those guys are good, But it's fun to see the sports and how good those guys are, and have a chance to play, with all of them. So it's like I say again, on defense, when you have a Ray Bourque and Paul Coffey and those guys, and Kevin
Yeah.
Lowe, and, you're like, that was pretty solid, And
You touched on it for a second there, and I never played at a pro level, so I'm curious. How different is it really? How much harder, or maybe it's easier to play on international ice as compared to NHL size?
uh, it's funny. I really believe I had my best game in a short, little ice, like in Boston and Buffalo and Chicago.
Sure.
For some reason, you look like you turn around and the net is right there. It's really different feel, different game. Over there, I think if you're not used to that big ice, a lot of time you don't use the extra ice you have. You're
Sure.
not when you those guys, they play all their PUE and as younger guy. That's why when they show up over there, they're good. They're good players and they
Yeah.
use the ice properly, and it's totally different. I think personally, I always think games are better in the smaller ice sheet. That's
I
me.
I
tend
agree.
to agree. Yeah.
More physical. It's more physical. It's more everything. Like I say, it was fun. You go on a road trip and you go to the Flyers. The ice in I don't know if the Flyers was 200 by 85, but it seemed really small in that ice rink.
It
And you go
was.
there, and the next day you go to Boston, and the next day you're in Chicago. Yeah, that was a fun trip.
Yeah.
So,
It's a
but again,
quick
everybody's
turnaround.
different. Me, I'm
Spe-
good. The ice sheet here is perfect. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
I got a question on, again, I don't know my facts right now, but franchise records, single season, Rudo, Mikko never got the goose last year, right?
No,
Or two
too
years ago,
short.
right?
Too short.
Too short. Yeah. It's all right. Goose still got it. All right.
Short
All right.
season,
I
short
want to make.
season. I was maybe I don't know about this year. I thought last year you will get it. I thought but it's not easy. You can have a good start and you can't go like 10, 12 games without the goals, and
Yeah.
it's hard. It's but again, it's good players. One of my favorite, Betty. One of my favorite player here is just he was struggling a little bit lately. Yeah, I don't know if the contract or the trade rumors or a lot of things maybe,
Yeah.
but it's still a good player. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's he's going to score 50 again at one point, but
For sure.
again, it's too
What
No
do
bad.
you
doubt in
think
my
of?
mind.
What do you think of number 88 now, Natchez?
I always like him. I know him
Yeah.
from I scout him quite a bit when he start. You know what I call him? I call him the Milan Hajduk Jr. at the time.
I
I thought
see
he
it.
was
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, I don't think he's got the touch around the net like him, but one day he might. The thing it's just me. He's got a lot of chance, great speed, good size. He's got good vision. He doesn't hit the net as enough. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of time he's one timer or they're not on net. At least if you're on net, at least you force the goalie to something. When you shoot wide, you have zero chance. So it's just like maybe it's a small adjustment, but he's a good player. I like him very much.
Hall of Fame goal scorer scouting people saying they don't hit the net enough. So there you go.
Well, my dad taught me really when a young age. If you don't hit the net, you're never gonna score.
It's true.
No,
That's
but it's true.
that's
But
simple.
I remember Yari Curry. Obviously, you know Yari, but
Yeah,
Yari used to tell you, and like honestly, he would look at you on the bench, and this is a true story with his Finnish accent, and he would look
yeah.
at you if you missed a net, and he'd be dead serious. He'd be like, "Hey, kid, never on, never in," and you'd be like,
That's
"Yeah, he's
it's.
right." You know,
I guess
yeah, he's right. No, but it's stupid. But it's so true, and it's exactly
it's
what you're
true.
saying right there.
It's just like
If he can figure it out,
I just remember him as his first 3 or 4 years, because I saw him quite a bit, scouting, and I really like him. And you know, people don't know him. Everybody really were panicking a little bit because you trade a guy that scored 50 goals for a guy that you don't really know. But all of a sudden, he's playing with McKinnon, and you're gonna have good chances every game. So if you can adjust that part, hitting the net a little bit more, I think we're gonna see a 30, 40 goal guy.
Very quickly here, if you are watching on TV or one of the fast services, we are going into overtime here. So jump over online, go to thednvr.com to watch the end of the show, or we'll see you on the next one. Either way, I don't think we have too much more to cover here. Goo, I did want to ask you though, do you have a favorite all-time game?
Well, I only have one.
Okay.
No, I got a few, but this one, I think it's the one in Montreal, during the regular season. That one game we start the game, and after 10 minutes, 3-0 Montreal. And all of a sudden, as you know, Eric, in Montreal, they start singing. Huh? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Whoa, it's going to be a long night. My God. All of a sudden, Bergie, our coach, take a little time out, and we finished the first period. They were winning 4-3, and we were winning 8-6. And I scored 4 goals. I
Jeez.
scored 4 goals and 2
Must
assists.
be nice.
That was a nice game. I got another
Yeah.
one in Quebec, but that one was special because for a young guy like me, watching Montreal Canadian all my young age, that was the place to do it. That was in Montreal, So at the Forum,
Oh,
Yep.
that was an amazing night.
All right, just to hit up our schedule, we are off from the pod tomorrow, but we will have a watch along for the big game. We'll have a bunch of people on that, so it should be fun. Do that, and if you are in person, come down to the DNVR bar for the game. You might need to reserve seats. The DNVR bar is already going to be packed for the final, so make sure you give them a call and go get down there and enjoy some sick hockey atmosphere for the final game. I already mentioned it, but if you want to see Goo in person, the takeover on the 28th. It's going to be an absolute blast with him in the suite. It's been fun. Goo, thank you again for coming on. Appreciate it a ton, man.
Great show, and keep going.
We'll keep going as Eric
You're
gives
the
the thumbs.
best.
You guys doing awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Looking forward to seeing you at Ball Arena in a little over a week here. We are going to wrap it up there. We appreciate all y'all in chat hanging out. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, this has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by Bet.
See you guys.
see ya.
We all silly like the mayor.